Good day, mate.
G'day.
G'day.
And this week, I'm guiding you through the oldest and most visited city on the continent once known as New Holland. Figured it out?
No worries?
No worries, mate.
Of course, I'm talking about Harbor City, but you may know it better as Sydney. A world city with natural beauty, a laid-back outdoor lifestyle, and a multicultural atmosphere. And I'll be giving you a little insight to some of the most iconic Sydney attractions and let you know of a couple that you may not have heard about. We're going to Australia. Cheers. This is your final boarding call. You recognize this landmark? You don't have to have been to Australia to know that that opera house and that bridge are the definitive confirmation that you are officially down under. But you don't just go to Australia, you go to Australia. An important part of the Australia experience is just getting here. It's at least a 14-hour flight, so if you don't prepare yourself for this journey, then you're gonna spend the first few days of your trip way down under. So here's the Shano recipe to prevent jet lag. A few days before leaving, if you can, change your eating and sleeping habits to reflect your upcoming schedule. This means eating breakfast in the afternoon and dinner during the wee hours of the morning. You'll probably fly out late at night, but stay up, drink plenty of water, and get some exercise if you can. Then try to crash during the second half of the flight. Okay, bad choice of words, but try to get some sleep because you'll arrive in the morning and this will help keep you up all day and sleep through the first night. You'll probably still be a little groggy for the next day or two, but hey, you're in Australia. No worries, right? Welcome to Sydney. Sydney's in New South Wales on the continent's southeast Pacific coast. Back in 1788, this was the very first European colony in Australia, and like most British settlements, it didn't go over very smoothly with the natives of almost 40,000 years, especially when you consider that this was primarily a settlement of exiled convicts, most of which settled here in the area sitting at the foot of the Harbour Bridge, called the Rocks, which was then a pretty rough neighborhood run by gangs and bubonic plague, and today is the oldest and most visited area in Sydney. Thankfully, plans to demolish and redevelop the Rocks into a more modern-day dwelling were opposed enough to abort, and instead, the Rocks were recycled into shops, galleries, and historic pubs, and these days it serves as Sydney's outdoor museum. To learn more, I suggest taking a pub tour. And to remember everything you learned, I suggest drinking less. If you want to watch your pints, order a midi. It's kind of a half pint. And the Rocks is just the beginning. Sydney is a city of villages, distinct in every direction. Center City flaunts well-known areas like Darling Harbour, Chinatown, and Darlinghurst, to name a few. And they all coexist in a way that each one complements the next, yet seems completely isolated at the same time. And this becomes even more evident as you happen upon the outskirts.
Just outside of the city, perhaps Woolloomooloo or King's Cross or Surrey Hills, you get to see people that actually live here, rather than just other tourists.
Eastern suburbs are more secluded and ritzy bayfront communities like Rose Bay and old fishing villages like Watson's Bay, which is the oldest fishing village in the city. Not a bad view either. Go west to see the ritzy and historic architecture of Glebe, a place where old money and backpackers coexist without pretension, or have an evening in the collegiate quarter of NEWTOWN, a place where every block seems to have at least 4 Asian restaurants and a pizza parlor to choose from. But don't plan on eating at the same place twice, mainly because you'll never remember which one it was you liked so much. But you can't forget the beaches. The southerly beach of choice is Bondi, a lively, touristy, and semi-topless coastal community. Most of the outgoing and friendly people you meet are just passing through, but it's definitely entertaining. For a quieter, more relaxing beach day, bring the family north to Manly, where there's no shortage of shopping, hiking, or opportunities to get wet. The local beach is a little further north in Narrabeen, a place known mostly for surfing. Ironically, it was mentioned in the Beach Boys song Surfing USA. So as you can clearly see, there are tons of directions to choose from here. But no matter how much you look around to find that unfamiliar area of the city you really want to spend some time in, you'll always find yourself back in Circular Quay. So you may as well start in the most familiar place in Sydney, the Opera House, an iconic and expressionistic 20th century performing arts venue. I'll let Sally take it from here.
All right, welcome to Sydney Opera House. My name is Sally.
Sally, good to meet you.
It's lovely to meet you.
I'm Shano.
Oh, right.
Please come on up. Thank you.
What's something that people don't know about the Opera House?
Well, I don't think they know that we have 5 theatres. 3 buildings: Opera Theatre, Concert Hall, and just behind us is the Benelong Restaurant. They really don't understand that we just have about 2,000 events a year. We have 14 operas a year, 4 months of ballet, 8 months of opera, and it's the 3rd busiest theatre in the world. There's more than just opera, there's everything that you can possibly imagine.
Yeah.
We've had radio plays, children's shows, we've even had trapeze artists here, and we even had surfing movies here years ago. The boys used to come in with their beer, if you can believe it, and watch the surfing movies. But we've been a little bit more sophisticated now. We change 15,500 light bulbs a year. That's a little bit of trivia for you. So when you talk to a performer, you never say good luck, do you? What do you say? Break a leg. It means I hope you break your leg, because you're bowing so many times, they love you so much, you break your leg. So now we won't die wondering with that one.
Do you think that this was a lotus or an armadillo theme?
Some people say it's like a snake skin. People from England say nuns in a scrum. It's like looking inside my guitar. Utzon said you can call them anything you like, but he wanted a building like a temple that you could see from the sky, the land and the water. And he has achieved that.
There's more to Sydney just around the corner.
Sydney to me is anything you want.
Friendly people and laid back.
Yeah. Sydney's a unique cosmopolitan city in that it's noted for its low population density, despite the fact that it's the most populated city in Australia. This is part of the Australian dream of 1.5 acres of land for every family. So when you stay in a high-rise hotel, you're not really living the dream. There's plenty of hotels to choose from in Sydney, but if you prefer the quiet life, yet still right in the middle of all the action, the Chelsea House is the perfect alternative. So I'm checking the website to see where you guys are posting for me to go in Sydney, and Vinny is saying the Harbour Bridge is a staple in Australia, and they do guided tours to climb it. A must-do, unforgettable experience. Well, I had something a little different in mind already for the Harbour Bridge, Vinny. We'll see if you like this a little better. Here's a fun way to get around Sydney. Rollerblading, and Travel Channel has actually set me up to do just that. I don't really rollerblade, so this is my official disclaimer that if anything happens to this camera, I'm not held responsible. Let's do it. Luckily, I was set up with a good teacher.
So important thing about rollerblading is making sure you stay forwards in your skates and flexing forwards. So,
Let's do it.
staying forwards, sides.
All right. So after a quick lesson, I found it to be like chess. Minutes to learn. I'm feeling good. Years to master.
Elbows forwards. Keep those back.
There it is. That was awesome. I'm ready. Let's get into traffic. I'm a pro now, right? Let's kick it.
Elbows forward, Shane. Stay to the left. It's just fantastic skating across the bridge. Really nice, big, smooth area. Got the best backdrop in the world. Beautiful Sydney Harbour. This is the Opera House. We've got Luna Park over here on the right. And take in the view. It's usually good weather year-round, so it just means you can skate all through the summer and through the winter. So it just makes it much easier to get around when you've got a pair of rollerblades. You don't have to worry about what the traffic's doing. So. Shane has successfully made it across the Sydney Harbour Bridge. Don't be tempted to stand up too high on the skates, otherwise they tend to be falling back.
I might be tempted to get radical.
Really?
Yeah! It was awesome. No.
One way to get down, of course, is this way.
I'll take the stairs. Dude, did you see my stair walk? That was bitchin'. Did you see that?
Okay, so you can see now as we're heading down the CAHILL Expressway walkway, very seldom see people up here, so it's
Nice.
an unknown little spot in Sydney and a really good place to cruise down and cut all the way through all the circular quay area, which is just got lots and lots of people there. So this is what I love about Sydney.
And even though it was still enjoyable, getting back was no easier than getting there. But anything beats driving in this city. And then again, maybe not.
Well, I don't have my licence, so I have to rely on public transport.
How is that?
It's great. A lot of people would disagree.
The public transport through Sydney is pretty average. It's a little bit unreliable. Can be a little bit expensive, but there's trains, there's buses, and there's the monorail, which goes from Circular Quay all the way to Darling Harbour, which is a fantastic way to see the city if you don't really feel like walking.
And then there's this rickety old train. A very cheap, bumpy, and slow ride around Darling Harbour. Well, fun for some. Now, you can avoid the roads altogether and take the water taxi on the harbour, but expect to pay a fortune. In fact, for just a few bucks more, you can hop on the Sea Wing seaplane in Rose Bay and cover way more ground. Steve, thanks for the ride, man. Hold on. Things are about to get weird in Sydney. Welcome back to Sydney and welcome down under. Should we throw another shrimp on the barbie?
Shrimp on the bar. We don't really say shrimp. We call shrimps prawns. Probably wouldn't find a lot of Australians actually saying throw another shrimp on the barbie.
Well, you'll probably find a lot of Australians at the Sydney Fish Market for some fresh prawn and endless amounts of other seafood. And you might run into Gus, a local fish market enthusiast. Just don't ask him about prawns, because you'll feel like you're on an Australian version of Forrest Gump.
Nice. We've got so much prawn variety in which we can choose about the king prawn, or we're talking about the red spot prawn, or the tiger prawn, and the endeavour prawn, or the bay prawn, or the banana prawn. We're lucky in this country that we've got an abundance of variety of prawn.
Well, why isn't the saying throw another prawn on the barbie?
At the Sydney Fish Market, they offer a tour every Monday and Thursday at 7 a.m. So if you've got a bit of jet lag, you can come in and do that. They take you around the auction floor and you get to see all the different fish and that sort of thing. Plus all the retailers are open from 7 a.m. So you can get some breakfast after.
We're gonna need to get a to-go box. Seafood in Sydney is pretty typical. This, however, is anything but. Say hello to Morticia, the weirdest, most pimped out hearse in Sydney. Say hello to Alan.
It's me tours, hello.
A weird dude. And this is a very weird tour.
Welcome everybody to the Weird Sydney Ghost and History Tour. This tour, for example, it takes you on a bit of a thrill ride through Sydney's dark underbelly. We visit quite a few unusual places.
So the attractions that you find on this tour are probably the ones the tourism board doesn't want you to know about. Weird places, like where the lead singer of NXS died. And the city's old gallows, where people paid 6 pence to watch executions. And weird facts, like Sydney Town Hall is built on top of the colony's first cemetery. You might have fun, and you might get nauseous. If you're lucky, you'll get both.
A lot of suffering, a lot of dying and stressful situations for a lot of people.
Right. And the winner, by unanimous decision of the best place to finish off a weird night in Sydney?
I don't know if you guys ever heard of King's Cross?
I live around King's Cross, so it's all pretty exciting there.
King's Cross is sex and drugs.
It's been the centre of the adult entertainment industry.
So this is King's Cross. It's the seedy area.
So you can go in and buy toys and, you know, dirty books and that sort of thing.
And strip clubs, adult shops, and all sorts of nightclubs. And
Used to be called Queen's Cross, but after the Queen died, they changed the sex. Kind of like some of the residents.
It can be pretty seedy, but it's sort of, it's not as bad now as what it used to be. But it's a lot of fun.
Are you hungry for more? And after a late night binge, make sure you stop by Harry's Cafe de Wheels. Place has been around since 1945. Makes the best pies in town. It's right here in historic Woolloomooloo. That's WOOLLOOMOOLOOLOOU. People like Colonel Sanders and Elton John have eaten here. Now they can add Shano to that list. There's two people I never thought I'd be on a list with. Actually, tons of real celebrities have enjoyed Harry's Australian pie, including the guy from American Pie. Hopefully not in the same way. Give me a pie. Beef pie with mushy peas, mashed potatoes, and gravy. Thank you. That's what I call a midnight snack. And if you're still not ready for bed, then walk it off. Like I said before, you'll always find yourself back in Circular Quay.
It's beautiful just to walk around there, even if you can walk around there at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's just stunning. The views in the harbour are just unbelievable. I don't think you find anything as good anywhere else.
So whether you prefer your nights crazy or peaceful, Sydney will accommodate. But try to get some rest. Tomorrow could be your last day in Sydney. Hopefully not. So we've seen quite a bit of the city, but Sydney offers more than just city life.
From downtown city, you get like maybe like 15-minute drive. You get the beach, there's nothing, like nobody. So the nature is beautiful.
And the most nature you'll find on the beach is at Ocean World in Manly, which on the surface may seem average. This isn't your typical aquarium. Not only an aquarium, but a interactive aquarium. You could say this is Chris Lim, and Chris is the shark dive supervisor. How you doing, man?
Nice to meet you, Sean.
Nice to meet you. So what do you do here?
We run shark dives, where we can take anyone from a beginner diver to a fully certified diver, diving in our aquarium. We take you through the aquarium on the dry side and we introduce you to all the animals. We try and teach you a little bit about the animals so that you understand what you're up against. The sharks are critically endangered. Here in Australia, they're called grey nurse. In the States, they're known as sand tigers. They were the first sharks in the world to receive any protection from any government, the New South Wales government, because they are recognised as not being a man-eater. And yet, in the 50s and 60s, when spearing sharks was quite popular, they were the easiest sharks to spear because they were actually the least threatening. And nowadays, there's only 400 of these sharks left in the wild. Because they don't mind staying in one place. Whereas other sharks, like great white sharks or tiger sharks, they need a whole ocean to keep them happy. They can't just stay in one place, they go crazy.
I just got finished doing the dive, and I was kind of apprehensive about it just because, you know, I don't like the controlled environment.
You like the open water.
Right.
Yeah.
But it actually was really, really cool because if you're shark diving in open water, you don't get a chance to let them go by 2 inches from your face.
That's right,
you know,
don't.
and just really get a close look at all the cracks in the skin and right in their eyes.
And see them look back.
Yeah.
Our sharks have lived in here some of them have lived here for over 20 years. Okay, so no matter how experienced the diver, they always walk away being blown away by how friendly our sharks are.
Why should we not miss this experience?
Because it gives you a chance to get to know an animal that has been largely misunderstood. The grey nose shark, the sand tiger shark, even though it's that big, it looks like it could eat you, it can't. So why not go in and hang out with it? And, yeah.
Definitely a unique experience.
I'm glad you had a good time.
Absolutely,
yep.
Man.
That's how you do it? Yeah.
So if you're into something a little less threatening, just an hour outside of the city is Featherdale Wildlife Park, where you can see all the Aussie animals you know and love, and then some.
Wait, is he gonna sneeze all over me? This is Boris. His mother was hit by a car, and they found him in the pouch and dropped him off here, and has been hand-raised since. Hey! Ow! Ah! He doesn't like me that much.
Did I say this was less threatening than the sharks?
They even got dingoes. Yes, please don't bite my neck. Yes.
Featherdale has it all, and it's one of Australia's largest private collections of native Australian animals. Perfect place to end a perfect trip.
Sydney is one of those travel destinations that comes with a lot of high expectations, but almost always delivers. From the nightlife to the outdoor activity, it's a big city with a small town feel, tons of stuff going on, yet a lot of relaxation, wide open spaces. It's the duck's nuts. I heard that meant it was good. For more information on Sydney, go to travelchannel.com.
Very, very
Well, thank you, Sally.
Well, it's lovely talking.
I guess the show's over.
The show's over.